Why, hello and welcome to everybody. This is Bulldog Banner and Theater. I'm General Beauregard, your official spokesman for today on Bulldog Banner and Theater. Bud Wheeler is on the golf course and enjoying the sunshine and asked me to step in and keep the Bulldog Nation up to date on the proceedings leading to the glorious 2021 season, which surely stands to be a season of memory for the Georgia nation. Now, there's one little problem with that glorious season that could come right off the bat, and that's a little pesky team called Clemson. Yeah, Clemson football has had a rejuvenation of sorts. Historically, they've been a punching bag. They've been around a while and played a few games and won a few games historically, but haven't been national players any time in recent memory since 1980, 81 when they won a national title. And it seems like they always got in a lot of trouble after succeeding in any kind of big way with the NCAA. Now, that was kind of a pattern with Clemson, but the recent vintage of Clemson football seems to be squeaky clean, free of issues, and as hard to find information on as it is about what's inside an acorn. You have to bust that nut and take a look inside. That's what we're doing today. We're taking that Clemson, and I use the word nut because Buckeye, the last team that beat Clemson, was a nut. Just in case you was wondering about my analogies there. Yeah, the last time Clemson played football, they walked off the field in a humbled fashion and was blown out by a Buckeye, Ohio State. Which, had they not had the success they had in recent memory, would have caused one to question their right to be in the playoff, as they would any other team that gets blown out, like Oklahoma, and sometimes Ohio State has been accused of not belonging. But no one questions whether Clemson belongs in the elite. They've just simply done too much last year. I can't remember the last time they'd even done that. They lost to Notre Dame in the regular season, beat them in the rematch in the playoff, or the ACC playoff, and lost to Ohio State. So they show cracks in the armor, signs of being human. Now, on top of that, they're going to lose a quarterback that's taken them to two national title games and won one of them in 3 years. So that stability, now 3 years in today's football with a quarterback and an offense essentially being intact is almost unheard of. It's almost getting into the days when they played real football and your seniors was on the field and that kind of era, to have a quarterback that long. These days, they'll be transferring in the third quarter if they don't feel like they got what they should have got from the coach. But this offseason will be the first in 3 years when Trevor Lawrence does not suit up as a quarterback for the Tigers. He helped the Tigers win a second national title in the Dabo Swinney era, as I mentioned, and continue the separation between Clemson and the rest of the ACC. Now, we're going to talk more about that, too, because the ACC is showing some signs of overall rejuvenation, of becoming a genuine conference. I believe this will become a fact within the next 5 years. 5 years from now, we won't be sitting here discussing the weakness of the ACC because there simply will be too many teams capable of taking advantage of the geographical proximity of the next burgeoning recruiting area, which is the second Atlanta, right there on the Atlantic seaboard. All the teams in the ACC are geographically positioned to take advantage of this new development of all this new talent. It's just becoming increasingly good. Has a lot to do with the fact that demographics, people are moving into the area. The snowbirds are settling. And it could be they know something about the oceans, and then Florida may not even be there. So that's a good advice as well. But nonetheless, whatever reason, that area of the country has gotten a lot of football talent, and it's going to play somewhere. And there's a good chance a lot of them are going to stick with the ACC. Teams like North Carolina showing signs of improvement. Miami starting to get a good recruiting class this year. They just need a really good class, maybe another one, and there'll be something to really deal with. So Miami's not out of the water. Florida State's showing signs of coming back, and that's the real pulse of the ACC, is having a dynamic Miami, a dynamic Florida State, Clemson, and then maybe somebody else like North Carolina, or maybe Syracuse, or maybe Boston College comes up with a good team. Georgia Tech is trying to get it back. So at some point, all this effort will lead to some sort of fruit, surely. Surely the ACC can figure out and can conjure up a better football lineup than the SEC East has been putting together. And right now, the ACC ain't much different than the SEC East, as in Georgia's got a pretty much a free run. If they're doing the job right, they'll waltz through that SEC East and go play Alabama. It's kind of the way it's set up. And the way it's going to be for a while. But the ACC, that's Clemson's territory, is pretty much the same thing. Clemson's going to win it all. They very seldom lose a game in the regular season of late because they simply don't have an opponent that's structured to give them a ball game. They had the occasional scare early. Syracuse is giving them fits. And one day they're going to beat them because they already beat them twice, just didn't get credit for it. But you keep beating a team a few times, eventually you get credit for it, and Georgia's going to do that with Alabama too. We've beaten them twice, just didn't get credit for it. But how the Tigers lost to Ohio State does leave them with some issues that must be addressed. As the elite of the elite in college football, the issue is not about what happens in the conference. It happens in the college football playoff, and Clemson is all about national title or bust now. Now, Clemson's last two appearances leave lots of questions about the talent level on the defense. It's concerning that Joe Burrow outplayed Lawrence in 2019, and Justin Fields did the same in 2020. Now, were those performances on Lawrence an indication of Clemson needing to improve their overall talent? Or was it simply a great day from a great athlete and would have done it to anybody? For all the issues Ohio State had in coverage, the Buckeyes covered Clemson's wide receivers pretty well. And those are two of the more pressing questions the Tigers have this offseason. So we will be spending some time trying to find out what Clemson managed to get done in the spring. They know they got to put a new quarterback out there, but he seems pretty good. So I don't think they're going to be in dire straits come